From mysterious bans to outright baffling decisions, JOOLA has managed to turn its Gen 3 paddles into pickleball's greatest spectacle. Imagine creating the ultimate paddle, endorsed by the biggest names in pickleball, only to have it banned for reasons that sound like a mix of admin blunders and conspiracy theories. Don't get me wrong, I'm all for pushing the limits of paddle technology, but JOOLA, they might have pushed a little too far this time. Let's break it down step by step, or should I say, misstep by misstep. JOOLA is no small name in sports. This is the brand that's basically pickleball royalty, boasting endorsements from icons like Ben Johns, Tyler McGuffin, and Simone Jardim. So, when they rolled out the Gen 3 paddles, expectations were sky high. These paddles weren't just hyped, they were tested and approved. You'd think that'd be the end of the story, right? Wrong. That's when USA Pickleball decided to throw a curveball into their mix. In November 2023, JOOLA submitted the Gen 3 paddles for certification. USA Pickleball gave them the green light, and players everywhere were thrilled. Fast forward to May 2024, and the story takes a turn. JOOLA casually admits that they might have sent the wrong paddles for approval. Yes, you heard that right. They sent the wrong paddles. How does that even happen? Did someone mix up the boxes while binge-watching Netflix? Who knows? By May 15, USA Pickleball had enough. The Gen 3 paddles were officially banned, and JOOLA scrambled to save face. Both sides issued statements, with JOOLA trying to explain that it was all a big misunderstanding. According to JOOLA, their paddles were victims of similarity testing protocols. Translation, they didn't pass USA Pickleball's strict standards because of reasons. At this point, you'd think JOOLA would cut their losses, apologize, and move on. But no. Instead, they doubled down. They promised to submit more paddles for testing, confident that they'd clear the bar this time. Spoiler alert, they didn't. June 4 rolls around, and USA Pickleball delivers another crushing blow. The new paddles JOOLA submitted, still banned. The reason? Vague technical standards that nobody seems to fully understand. Was it the propulsion core? The edgy design? The fact that these paddles could probably double as weapons in an action movie featuring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson? Speculation ran wild. JOOLA responded like any jilted company would, by filing a lawsuit. Yeah, they took USA Pickleball to court, arguing that the paddles were fine all along. They even offered refunds to anyone who bought a Gen 3 paddle between April and June 2024. A nice gesture, sure, but it didn't stop the chaos from spilling onto pickleball courts everywhere. But before going any further, let's test if you've been listening with this relatively simple quiz. Which of these pickleball players are currently sponsored by JOOLA? Is it A. Ben Johns, B. Anna Bright, C. Simone Jardim, D. All of the above? Let me know which option you think is right. The correct answer will be revealed at the end of the video, so stay tuned. Now back to it. Let's talk about the real victims here, the players. Imagine spending months perfecting your game with a paddle that feels like an extension of your arm, only to be told you can't use it anymore. That's what happened to JOOLA-sponsored pros like Ben Johns, who had sung the praises of the Gen 3 paddle before it got axed. Johns himself called the Perseus Gen 3 a game-changer, boasting, and I quote, "way more power than expected." Too much power apparently for USA Pickleball's liking. And what about the amateur players who shelled out big bucks for the paddle? They're now stuck shopping for alternatives or accepting JOOLA's refund offer. It's like buying a Ferrari only to be told it's illegal to drive it on the highway. Fun while it lasted, but ultimately useless. Here's where things get even murkier. While JOOLA and USA Pickleball bickered over testing protocols, rumors started swirling. Some speculated that the Gen 3 paddles were banned not because of an admin error, but because they offered players an unfair advantage. The paddle's propulsion core allegedly created a catapult effect, giving players more power and precision. Basically, it was like bringing a rocket launcher to a knife fight. Of course, JOOLA denied any wrongdoing. They claimed their paddles met all the necessary standards and hinted that the ban was more about politics than performance. Whether that's true or not, the damage was already done. The Gen 3 paddles were officially blacklisted, and the pickleball community was left to pick up the pieces. Quick side note here, I hope you haven't forgotten about our quiz question from earlier. The answer will be revealed at the end of the video. And hint, the answer is not A. Ben Johns. Let's not forget the retailers who got caught in the fallout. Stores had to issue refunds for banned paddles, a logistical nightmare that hit smaller shops especially hard. Imagine explaining to a customer why their $250 paddle is now a glorified paperweight. Not exactly great for business. And then there's the ripple effect. With the Gen 3 paddles off the market, players scrambled to find replacements. JOOLA recommended alternatives like the Perseus Mod TA15 and the 101 Pickleball Phantom, both of which feature similar propulsion cores. But let's be honest, it's not the same. The Gen 3 paddles were supposed to be the paddles. Anything else feels like settling. By June 13, JOOLA had had enough. They filed a lawsuit against USA Pickleball, claiming the ban was unjustified. Their argument? The Gen 3 paddles were initially approved, and nothing about their design had changed. It was USA Pickleball's testing process that was inconsistent, not the paddles themselves. The lawsuit is still ongoing, but let's be real. Even if JOOLA wins, the damage to their reputation is already done. The Gen 3 paddles are forever tainted by this controversy, and USA Pickleball isn't exactly coming out of this smelling like roses either. At its core, this debacle raises a bigger question. How fair is the paddle approval process? USA Pickleball claims their standards prioritize a level playing field, but critics argue that the rules are too vague and open to interpretation. If even a brand as established as JOOLA can't navigate the system, what hope is there for smaller companies? And then there's the issue of innovation. The Gen 3 paddles were designed to push the boundaries of what a pickleball paddle can do. Shouldn't that be celebrated, not penalized? Or are we doomed to play with paddles that feel like relics from the Stone Age? The story? Maybe it's this. When you aim for greatness, be prepared for the fallout. Or maybe it's just a reminder that even in the world of pickleball, things can get really stupid. Now, for everyone who stuck around, the answer to today's quiz question of which of these pickleball players are currently sponsored by JOOLA is D, all of the above. If you picked D, congratulations, you've got an eye for pickleball's biggest sponsorships. JOOLA, originally a table tennis giant, has become a powerhouse in pickleball by teaming up with some of the sport's brightest stars. Ben Johns, widely regarded as the GOAT of pickleball, is practically the face of the brand. He's been dominating the pro circuit with JOOLA's paddles, including the signature Ben Johns Hyperion, which is a favorite among serious players. Anna Bright, the rising star in women's pickleball, also represents JOOLA. Bright's rapid rise to prominence in both singles and doubles has made her a standout athlete. Her partnership with JOOLA highlights the brand's strategy of investing in both established champions and future legends. Simone, Jardim, often referred to as the Queen of Pickleball, joined JOOLA with an already illustrious career under her belt. A multi-time national champion, Jardim brings both experience and credibility to the brand, rounding out their star-studded roster. JOOLA's strategy is simple but effective. Dominate the pickleball scene by aligning with players who consistently show up on podiums. From Ben's insane control and spin, Anna's aggressive play, and Simone's strategic mastery, these players represent everything JOOLA stands for: performance, precision, and passion. And if you're interested in watching more pickleball content, this video titled "I was losing at pickleball until I fixed these 5 kitchen mistakes" is calling your name. Give it a watch.